Have you ever thought, what if the toughest creature on Earth isn't actually from Earth? I know, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But believe it or not, it's a question scientists are taking seriously, all thanks to one of our planet's tiniest and toughest animals.
Okay, so let me introduce you to the star of our show, the tardigrade. People call it a water bear, which is pretty cute for what is maybe the most resilient animal we've ever found. But just how tough are we talking? Well, scientists decided to find out in the most extreme way possible.
And what they found is, honestly, it's just mind-bending. They actually launched these little guys into orbit and left them outside. For 10 whole days, they were exposed to the vacuum, the radiation, the whole 9 yards. And when they came back, a whole bunch of them were still alive. And here's the kicker. These aren't just simple bacteria. They're complex animals.
This just completely changes the game, doesn't it? It forces us to ask a really profound and kind of wild question. If an animal from our planet can survive the harshness of space, does that mean life could actually travel between worlds? And if it can, could it have happened to us?
You see, the tardigrade's little space adventure, it's breathing new life into a really old scientific theory, one that makes us question everything we think we know about where we came from.
That theory is called Panspermia, and the basic idea is this. Life didn't necessarily start here. Instead, the seeds of life, we're talking tiny microbes or even just the basic building blocks, are floating all over the universe. They're like cosmic hitchhikers, catching rides on asteroids and comets, just waiting to land on a habitable planet. Which, if true, means we might all be aliens.
And get this is not some new fringe hypothesis. Scientists have been kicking this idea around for centuries, literally since the 1700s. And yeah, for a long time it was pushed to the side, but with new discoveries like the tardigrade's survival, well, people are taking a serious second look.
Yeah, that tardigrade study was a real bombshell. As NASA astrobiologist David Morrison put it, this result is exciting because it backs up the idea that life really could be exchanged between planets. So the bottom line is, survival in space, it's on the table.
So, okay, if we play along with this idea, if life didn't start on Earth, where did it come from? Well, the most likely suspect in our solar system seems to be our neighbor, Mars.
And it really all boils down to one thing: timing. You see, Mars got its act together way before Earth did. According to planetary scientist Jay Melosh, while our planet was still a crazy, hot, molten mess from the collision that made the moon, Mars was, well, it was ready. It was cooler, it had a stable crust, it was a much better place for life to get started.
So how would that even work? How would life get from Mars to Earth? Well, the theory goes something like this. Step 1. Bam! A giant asteroid slams into ancient Mars, blasting Martian rocks out into space. Some of those rocks might have had tiny microbes hiding inside. Step 2. Those little Martian meteorites just wander through the solar system. And then, finally, Step 3. One of those rocks crashes into a much younger, but now habitable Earth, delivering its precious cargo and seeding our world with life. All right, so the Mars to Earth idea is pretty compelling, but it makes you wonder, is this a one-way street, or could the traffic go in the other direction? I mean, is it possible that life from Earth could have made the trip and taken root on Mars? Could we have accidentally contaminated the red planet with one of our own probes? Well, the short answer seems to be nope, probably not. And the reason why comes down to one really tough number: 13. Turns out there are 13, count them, 13 different biocidal factors on Mars. That's basically 13 different ways the planet will try to kill any stowaways from Earth. We're talking a super thin atmosphere, brutal solar radiation, no liquid water on the surface. It's not just a tough place to live, it's an absolute death trap. And one scientist, Andrew Schuriger, who actually simulates Martian conditions in his lab, puts it really bluntly. He's pretty skeptical. He says that even if a microbe survived the trip and got onto the surface, the chances of it actually growing are incredibly slim. Surviving the journey is one thing, but setting up shop and thriving? That's a whole other ballgame. Okay, so this helps us draw a really important line in the sand. Planet hopping within our solar system, say from Mars to Earth, is one thing. It's a relatively short trip, and microbes could be shielded inside a rock. But star hopping? Traveling between different star systems? That's a completely different level of difficult. The distances are just mind-boggling, and the constant exposure to cosmic rays over millions of years makes that journey, well, highly, highly unlikely. So after all this talk of cosmic journeys and Martian microbes, let's bring it all back home and look at this whole thing through the lens of a classic scientific principle.
You've probably heard of it, Occam's razor. The idea is super simple. When you have a bunch of competing explanations, the simplest one, the one that requires the fewest what-ifs, is usually the right one. So if we apply that razor here, well, Andrew Scherger, the scientist we heard from earlier, he says it best. The whole Mars to Earth story is, well, it's complicated. It requires a lot of things to go just right. Isn't it just simpler to say that life started here, on Earth, and evolved here? It's the most direct explanation.
But, even with Occam's razor, it's hard to just close the book on this. I mean, you look up at a picture like this, a single galaxy with billions of stars and who knows how many planets, and you can't help but wonder.
That little tardigrade proved that life is so much tougher and more resilient than we ever imagined. So, what do you think? Are we a one-of-a-kind miracle that happened right here on this little blue dot? Or are we all Martians, the descendants of the ultimate space survivors? It's an incredible question to think about.